Welcome to a little weekend away / clay creation video. It's bonfire weekend. Come with me down to Lewis and experience the most intense bonfire or Guy Fawkes night that you ever have. It's about an hour and a bit train from London to Lewis, which is down near Brighton, and my sister's fiance's family live right by the high street, so we get the perfect view of the parade that goes down to where they then have the giant bonfire at the end of the night. They have massive effigies of different political figures and issues that they're having, like this is Pothole Pete. And then they have this massive bonfire before finishing the night with a huge display of fireworks. And it's always a super amazing, fun time. This is our second year we've gone down and it's so much fun. I would definitely recommend, if you're ever looking for somewhere to be on bonfire night, to go down to Lewis. It's a real great time. But now, welcome to the second part of the video. At the beginning of last week, I came across an account on Instagram that had the cutest little pottery calendars. My clay creation is very much inspired by acorn pots, as you can see on screen, and it got me thinking that I had a little bit of air dry clay left, which I don't enjoy to use to mold because, as we know, it cracks and it doesn't fold onto itself properly. It like stays segment. Anyway, hard to work with depending on what you're wanting to do. But these look fairly straightforward, not a lot of molding required. So I decided to make one. Instantly, I thought, oh my gosh, I could do Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle and put the date in his mouth. Like, that will be really cute. So I started sketching it out and was getting really excited. But then the more I was thinking about it, the more I was like, well, when this is completed, like, it will look cute, but it's not mine, you know? It's not my twist on anything. So then I thought, what do I like? And what is always screeching and has its mouth open? Frickin' opossums. So I sketched these ones up and I fell in love with the little design. In hindsight, there are a couple of design choices that I made which are not super helpful for this little creation. One of which being the teeth. I didn't think about the fact that putting in the little blocks for the date could get a little difficult with all the teeth in the way, but regardless, we move, and I just found it so cute that I didn't even think about the practicality of it all, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think that would have put too much pressure on the clay molding part, which was testing me to my limits as it was. So it is what it is. You'll see what I mean in the end. So I was using the last bits of my Das air drying clay. Started off with a bit of a base, used some scrunched up tin foil for the head so that it wasn't too heavy when it was drying. And then I tried to smooth out as many of the cracks and bumps as possible, which is almost impossible for me. I don't know how people get this stuff so smooth. I then filled in the mouth underneath the tinfoil so that when you look in there, it's all clay. I also made the little cubes for the dates. In hindsight, didn't make enough, but at the time, this felt good. So there you can see the top of the mouth is all enclosed, and I also started adding the teeth, which was a bit difficult because this clay doesn't really stick to itself well. I got it good enough so that the teeth and then the ears held on, and then this is it almost dry. The back of it is still a bit damp, as you can see, the different color, but almost dry and ready to paint. This is me testing out the little cubes, and that's when I started to realize that the teeth part of the design were more of a hindrance than I anticipated. But too late to do anything about that, so we moved on to the painting. At the moment I'm still using like a mix of acrylic and undiluted watercolor paints because it's just what I have. I would like to get different types of paints for this because these ones feel like when they dry they kind of create a little bit of a skin that if it comes in contact with something else a bit tacky, it can rip the paint off. I'm hoping the sealant that I'll put on it at the end will stop any paint issues, but potentially I might just always have bits of paint coming off this creation. I also don't have enough of the white paint, so instead of carrying on painting the whole head, I decided to just focus on the areas that I definitely wanted white, like the teeth and around the pupils. I knew that I was going to have white, so I saved a bit more paint for that. But yeah, this step is always quite therapeutic. It's when I can see the vision coming to life a bit more. There's more character in my little guy. Definitely more so once I start adding color, but it was good to just get some of the base paint down at this stage, especially since I wanted to let the back of the piece dry out even more before I start painting that. So focusing on the smaller details and the front was a good idea. It was then time to add a little more color, and because I was low on white, I was struggling to get the pink to be a bit more lighter than what it just comes out of the tube as, so I had to sacrifice more white to paint the pink. Doing clay creations I find really rewarding because I love little miniature things. I love holding something tangible in my hand. And because at the moment I'm not doing a lot of traditional art, most of my art is on my iPad, so it's nice to be a bit more tactile with what I'm creating. I bought some polymer clay the other day that I still haven't had a chance to sit down and use, so I'm really curious to see if it is a lot easier to work with for more sculpted pieces than air dry clay. The amount of times during the molding process of this that I wanted to give up because I was getting so frustrated with this clay. I know I talk about it every time, but I can't get over how people use it. Like, I find it so infuriating. So it is always a good time when I've passed the molding stage and I'm actually able to start painting and feel a bit more attached to the piece instead of looking at it and just thinking I want to just crunch you up like I don't like you at all. I also find that the paint fills in some of the cracks a lot, so when it's got a coat over the whole thing, it doesn't actually look as cracky as it looks right now. Like, this looks atrocious. It looks like it's brittle little hairs are about to fall off, but I promise, like, with more paint on, you can't see quite as many cracks and imperfections. I really liked painting the eye circles as well, because now it was really coming to life and looking like a stressed out little opossum. I don't know about you, but a good arts and crafts on a rainy day is actually such a dream day for me. I was having so much fun at this point, and it was all rainy and cold outside, and I was just sitting here with my music or YouTube videos on and just painting away, watching him come to life and looking so cute. I think it's my favorite thing to do because it just really like shuts my brain off, lets me focus in, and it just feels very meditative, which your girl could use. I wasn't sure how much around the mouth I wanted to make pink, because there's always a fine line of something being kind of freaky but cute, or just becoming way too freaky and like ugly. And I thought maybe if I did the pink on the sides of the mouth as well as the top and bottom, it just might look a little too grotesque, and yeah, that's not really the vibe I was going for. I still wanted him to be likable. The inside of the mouth was really enjoyable to paint because I could use my big brush and just get the paint like really loaded on the brush and just go to town in there. I did, however, not complete the inside of the mouth because the more I was thinking about it, the more I realized I probably need to build up the clay in there more so that the dates don't roll right to to the back. And if I'm going to add more clay to the back of the mouth, I don't really want to waste paint doing stuff that I'm going to have to repaint anyway. But having the darker pink in the mouth really was making him pop, and his little teeth were popping, and I think it really added a nice dimension to his face. Here he is in some light. This is where we got to on that day. Now I just need to wait for him to dry a little more before I added his grey coat and like the pupils and more detail like that. But yeah, I was really liking how he's coming along. I love this angle because you can see his little heart nose and you can see both his eyes. It just gives a better look at the face. I could then get to work on the little black ears and other black details on him, like the eyes and a little fluff around his face. This was a little harder than I expected because there were so many cracks and grooves in the air, and I was trying to fill them all but making sure that I wasn't accidentally flicking paint onto his face. So that was a bit nerve-wracking. And then the most exciting thing happened. Our Amazon delivery arrived with my desk lamp. I've been needing one for ages and I've just been putting it off buying it. And then the other day we just sat down, purchased it, and it arrived today. And it has like 3 modes and has working light, like the really white bright light for drawing or doing painting or crafts or whatever, which is great because now we're in winter. The light leaves around 3 p.m. It starts getting dark, and I have been really struggling to stay creative or keep working on things past this time because the room just gets so dim. So it's so great to have this lamp, and I'm so thankful that it arrived really quick and I can carry on my little projects. Now that the eyes are outlined, I then was trying to decide what pupil to give him. I started with small because I can always adjust it, and I ended up adjusting it to a lot bigger pupils. But I think he just looked a little too crazy with the little eyes. And I wanted, actually now in hindsight, I kind of like it as well. I don't know what was the right choice. I ended up going big. He looks kind of insane like this. So drum roll please. There she is in all her glory. Miss Opossum herself. Got the date. We've got her all painted up. I need to coat her, but I want to give the paint a little longer to dry before putting the varnish on. I think she's really cute. I love her. Oh. Okay. Well, that's a great segue. She's falling apart now. That's a great segue into why trying these things is so important, because I look at a design and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that, and it's not until I start making it that I'm like, whoa, I need to put way more thought into this. For instance, her mouth is way too deep, so the little blocks with the dates on roll back into her mouth and you can't really see them clearly, and then it's hard to get out. On top of that, I've made it doubly hard because of her teeth. It's like easy to tip them out, but like fiddling around to get them in place is very difficult. So two things wrong with the mouth: way too deep and the teeth get in the way. The next thing is I forgot to make multiple of these, so I only have September, October, November, December on there, and I have 1 to 4 on there and 5 to 9 basically, because the 6 can go either way on there. So I'm short on my dates and my months, and they fall into her giant crevasse of a mouth and I can't really get my hand in there. But in the sense of just like having something completed, using up my air dry clay, I really like the paint work that I've done, and I think she's got a lot of character. I really love her. she's just not very practical, and I don't think realistically I'll be adjusting the date every day, which is fine. I'll do it if people come over, make it look good. But yeah, no, I don't know, I can't stop holding it. I love knick-knacky little clay bits and bobs. Like, is this needed? No. Is it functional? No. But is it really cute and fun? Yes, look at that. There are definitely some design elements, like aesthetically, that I would have changed as well. Like, she's got a wonky face. She's not very even. The clay, I just don't like working with it. Even doing this, I almost gave up because I was just getting so sick of it. I'm glad I didn't, because now I've got this little guy to sit on my desk. How fun. So it's a bit of an odd little video with different bits today, but I've created something from start to finish and I'm really proud of it. And it felt good to get that clay stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone. Catch you next week. Bye.